Yeah, we're gonna go to this play. It's gonna end, and then right as we're walking, everybody's gonna be like clapping. We'll give our standing ovation, and then we're pulling out CBS on our phones.
I know. Being those people, making my mom stream it the whole way home.
iHeartRadio. There you go.
Honestly, they're great.
Riley comes in. Angel City on the board.
Corner kick presented by Cedar Sinai. Shifty work into the box. And across, it's in! Oh, it's LaRue! It's a dream return!
Welcome to Casual FC, an Angel City preview pod. I'm your host, Angela Morales, with my technologically super savvy shop setting up producer extraordinaire, transcriber, uploader, co-host, Mario Salazar.
Dang, it's a lot of titles.
Multi-hyphenate.
Yeah, multi-hyphenate. Although if you've seen the amount of back and forth we had on just recording this one pod today, it put some question marks on some of those hyphens. Oh,
You're the man behind the curtain. You're the Wizard of Oz here. Or maybe I'm like the wizard in the projected wizard. Like people think I'm the smart one, but it's really you. You're the dude behind the curtain. I'm just like, go get some courage. Bye. Like all right.
Well,
so
welcome back.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of like finding our groove again.
Yeah.
Now that World Cup is over, we have like schedule changes, all kinds of stuff going on.
Schedule changes and these weird gaps in between matches. So like it always feels like it's been a really long time between between episodes.
We haven't recorded for 2 weeks, and we were talking about like it's like weird because it's like we're video recording, but also like it's like a hangout at the same time. So it's weird not seeing you every week.
Yeah.
Like, I miss my friend. But here we are. Alrighty, everyone. On the last episode of Angel City FC, we were playing Kansas City Current at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, where we won. We brought home 3 points. I'm like dancing over here. Yeah, we brought all 3 points home. Kansas City, nobody scored. They just got 2 yellow cards. That's it. Michelle Cooper, who is the other hotshot queen, I guess.
The hotshot
Hotshot weekend. Yeah. The hotshot derby. The hotshot derby. That's what it was. But Michelle Cooper got a yellow card towards the end of the first half, which disqualified her from the next match on card accumulation. So wild times for her. So we went into halftime scoreless. I was slightly stressed because I was like, this is too close. I really want us to win this game. We've got a goal differential to make up. Like, I'm thinking all these things. All like my murder board is in my head, getting a little bit more defined every moment. But Jasmine Spencer, tried and true, put her anywhere on the pitch and she will deliver. Jasmine Spencer came through in the 66th minute off an assist by Clarice Lebion. And we finally got a Jasmine Spencer goal in an Angel City uniform. I have been longing for this since like the first game of last season. Just the very first Angel City. I was like, you need to score. I mean, she can play anywhere on the pitch. She traditionally kind of sort of plays more defensive roles. Girl can hop 50 feet in the air. She's tiny. I don't understand it. She's just great. So yeah. I was so happy.
That goal went in and it was like, geez, we needed that. And then the rest of the match is just like, I felt like close.
I was like my whole body was just clenched for the last 30 some minutes of that game. Cause there was 1,000 minutes of stoppage time. It felt like, it was just, that game was stressful, but it was so good.
But you know what that means? That means undetweeted in 10, baby.
Yeah, undetweeted in 10.
I had to update like our little story because I used the undetweeted sound clip as like our thing on like Instagram or whatever, and then I had to like redo it and be like, nope, it's out of 10 now.
Scratch it out. Yeah, I love how that is catching on. I don't know how much you've been on Twitter, but there's been a few different women's soccer journalists that are mad that they didn't get it first. And I was like, that's us. That's us.
Oh, you're gonna have to send that to me because I am not on
Jenna Tonelli, like big names in women's soccer WOSO Twitter were like, who did this? And Alex from R99 was actually the one who was like, it was from Casual FC Pod, and I was like, that's a real friend.
Yes. Yep.
And shout out to Alex if she listens to this episode. I saw her like for a millisecond after a concert at the Greek on Friday, and I was just confused. And we both looked at each other and just waved and walked away. But she's a new mom, so good for her for getting out of the house.
Yeah, get out of the house and then get back as quick as you can.
Exactly. All right, okay. So with that said, where are we at in the standings? Everything is bonkers.
Undetweeted in 10
Hit me.
is an amazing feat and has moved us up the ranks to 8th place. We are currently tied with Racing. Now, doesn't that that it's just a little bit of a sore spot, especially because we tied that one. We tied when we played Racing. If we would have beat them, we would have been above them clearly, but
yeah, because right now with Racing, we have the better record, but they have the goal differential in their favor. And that's what's keeping them like ahead of us in the game. So I'll touch on it later, but we need to score a lot. Basically.
Yeah. We're slowly chipping away at that goal differential. Like I said, it wasn't like in the double digits as one team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be the thing. I mean, that was the thing when it came down to early on when, the hope was still there with the U.S. women's team was like, God, I hope the goal differential is not the thing that kills us. And, it wasn't. So...
It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon. Okay. So overall, the standings are way too tight. I think there's been a couple of like reports that we've seen online where it's just like, it's just the spread isn't wide enough to make any predictions at this point. Like it's still not safe for the people at the top. Mm-hmm. They're most likely safe as far as playoffs are concerned, but in their actual spot, like is Portland or is San Diego, they keep flip-flopping like who's going to be Shield champions and things like that. So no one is safe in whatever their position is. And honestly, people are making giant leaps with each one of these games because like we said before, all of these games are 6-point matches right now, and basically, the way everything has spread out, it's like everybody has 6-point matches at this point. So it's just hard, and honestly, trying to wrap your head around permutations and what may and may not have, like there is no crystal ball in the world that is going to give you any sort of answer that you'd be happy with. So
exactly, it's a wild race now.
And honestly, I'd have to do like a literal murder wall with like numbers and like options and like if this one happens here and what if happens that.
Right.
It would be a whole nother episode. So
and be multi-part at that, and it would change midway through.
With that, we've mentioned her before, Allison Gale over on Twitter, amazing statistician, visual graphics extraordinaire person. She has this amazing standings graphic that we reference a lot, which clearly shows you the movement every week in a visual way, and it's super nice to see like how a team has jumped, one spot, 2 spots. Some teams have jumped like 4 spots in 1 week. It's insane. It's also really insane to kind of see how it clearly shows that there's a clear difference, at least at the beginning, at least in the middle of the season, that the top 6 and the bottom 6 were clearly different. Like there was no crossing in between them. They were playing leapfrog with each other, not across the entirety. But now there's jumping all over the place. But by did it again, I mean, she created an amazing standings website.
It's really cool.
I wrote it in the notes, and because it literally is, it is a digital fidget spinner. If you need if you need something to let your brain wander and just press a bunch of buttons and move a bunch of numbers around and things like that, this is the website for you. Like, it's super bare bones, super straightforward, but that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be like super beautifully like web 6.0 like version. It just needs to be what it is, and it exactly is that digital fidget spinner. So what it is
so
is that...
what does this website do?
What it is that it's...
Tell me more about it.
She has the current standings broken out, right? The way they are, with wins, losses, points, games played, all of that stuff. And then on the left side is the matchups for the last 4 weeks of the season. Now, what you get to do is you get to predict the outcomes of each one of these matches. And every time you make your moves on who wins and who loses or who ties, the standings get updated. So you can play around and see how well your team might do and how shitty your team might do. And let me tell you, I got so excited. I messaged Ange so quick to say, there is a world where Angel City gets first place. I'm calling it right now. It's a total possibility. And it's not even a, at least I don't think so. I've sent it to you. I don't know if you've checked my math, but it's not even a thing where I'm saying like every single team needs to completely lose. You know, like all the top teams need to completely lose. No.
You tried it a whole bunch of different ways.
Yeah, this is straight up legit. There is a world where Angel City gets first place. I even had like Portland like winning pretty much every match that they had. I had North Carolina winning. The one that was Portland was one of the ones where like if they won every single one, they might surpass us. This is all also assuming we win pretty much every match. Actually, I think we're allowed to tie one match out of the last 4 that we have, but we have to win 3, win 4. And then I did it where...
Let's just win out.
Let's just win all the way out. That's all we need to do. If we just win and land wherever we land, that's going to get us. That's going to be enough. I did do it where San Diego won 1, lost 1, and tied 2. That gave us an automatic first place if we did our end of the bargain. So insane. I'm just saying it's insane. It will drive you crazy playing with all the all the scores, but there is technically a world where we end up in first place and we win the Shield. There's also a world where we end up in 8th. So, you know, it's up and down. But
we're not going to talk about that world because we want to be
most
where
of the results that I got. So I got a first place. I got a couple of different versions of a 4th place. And I got one version of like a 6th place where like we barely make it in. So the fact that there are multiple versions, how this can all play out, I think are very promising for us. And honestly, like we've been saying since she started, Becky's just on a different level. The players respect her and follow those plans way better than they ever have. And they're gelling in a way that we haven't seen them gel before.
Yeah.
Undetweeted can go through the entire season. I mean, I'm not...
It can happen.
You know, not gonna... It can happen, though. And it's not that far-fetched. The fact that we've gone 10 to do 4 more is not that far-fetched, right? Like, if we were saying, oh, she's going to go completely undefeated after 4 or after 3, then we'd be like, yeah, that's... After 10, though. And we've had some pretty good matchups, so
I know.
But the number one thing to take out of all of this,
we've had some really good matchups. We've had really good games.
Yeah, it's exciting to be an Angel City fan right now. It wasn't so much at the first half of the season, but it is right now. With all of this, it just has to be said again, just to kind of put it out there. Everybody knows it. We just can't give up any points. If we can afford 1, maybe 2. I think the one where we landed in 6th place, I had like 2 ties. there. But we honestly cannot afford a loss. We cannot afford to drop 3 points in these last 4. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, because not only would we be dropping our main points, we're also widening that goal differential.
Yeah. Yes. So widen the goal differential. We need all those points. Becky, you've been listening to the pod. You're a big fan. We know you you do listen religiously every Wednesday. We know you got this. 4 points. That's all it is.
This poor woman.
Now, I will say that the caveat is that, there's... And I don't know how crazy Allison got with her little fidget spinner website thing, but I've read multiple reports about the fact that the final standings is probably going to come down to a lot of tiebreakers. Tiebreakers are going to be a very big thing this year because of the point spread at the moment. I mean, if a couple teams kind of break off and win the whole thing and just kind of blow everybody out the water, that's one thing. But the meat and potatoes and the tail end of the playoff standings are really most likely going to come down to these tiebreakers. And just to review the way tiebreakers work in the NWSL. At one point, it was very much the way tiebreakers worked, like in the World Cup. It was points, and then it was one of the tiebreakers was head-to-head matchup. Like, did you win out of the 2 matches? Did you win? That, I think, still leaves too much room for repeats. So there's 7 ways, and I think we touched on this like maybe in the very first or second episode or something like that.
Early on. But just
to review again, there's 7 different tiebreakers, right? So if you are tied on points, the very first one is going to be your goal differential. That's why we keep talking about this goal differential. It's very important that we score as many goals as we can, because we can lose a spot because we just didn't score enough. Then, if you're also tied on goal differential, it will go down to most total wins in the regular season. So who has, you might be tied on points, but your loss, draw record might be a little bit better than the next team, and so that might get you over the hump. If you're tied on that, straight up most goals scored. So the first one being the goal differential is literally how many did you score, how many were scored against you, and then the difference between those. So the third tiebreaker is going to be how many did you score in general. Now, again, same thing, mix and repeat. If you're tied on that, then it goes to head-to-head results. And by the head-to-head result is total points accumulated. So scoring on your opponent is also a big thing. Then head-to-head most goals scored in general. And then disciplinary action, which is, if it gets all the way down to this, I mean, you're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And it's... and this is when...
If it's getting all the way down to this is insane.
Yeah. And the thing is that, okay, they don't have as many tiebreakers in the World Cup, but it's gone down to these extracurricular versions of tiebreakers. So the disciplinary points, you get 1 point per yellow card that was issued to someone on the team, 3 points for an indirect red, which means if someone got 2 yellows, 4 points if you got a direct red, and then 5 points if you got a yellow card and then you were given a direct red. All of those, you add them up for the entirety of the season, and then it's whoever has the least disciplinary points. And I don't think it's ever gone to this.
But
after that, basically people putting together these reasons of how to break ties, they're just like, just flip a coin. Just flip a coin. Just do it. It literally comes down to a coin flip. And that's what it's going to come down to.
So I hope we don't get to that point.
Yeah. So it's going to get crazy. It might come down to all of these different things on the table. So who knows? But, the best we can say is win every match we got. Don't lose any of them, and we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So let's just look at our next match. And before we do that, actually, if you haven't seen it on our Instagram yet, we are going to be doing our first giveaway. We have 2 tickets to give away to the Orlando Pride match, which is going to be at BMO Stadium. It was scheduled for the 27th. Both teams agreed to reschedule the game because of the international window. Orlando had a lot more players out on international duty than we did. But they both decided to reschedule. So the match is going to be on Monday, October 2nd, versus the Orlando Pride at BMO Stadium. We have 2 tickets in the 100 level of the stadium. All you got to do is
great seats. They're absolutely fantastic seats. I will say this. You're right at like the midfield. What is it called? Why don't I know what this is called? I'm like, it's right in half court, but no, that's not. What's the middle of the pitch called?
Well, we're not at the middle of the pitch. We're like a third. We're like in the attacking third, I guess you would say, of the pitch.
Okay, but you're close enough.
It's a good vantage point. Yes, all you got to do is go over to our Instagram, follow, like, and just tag a friend. That's all you got to do. We'll put you in the running. We'll do a random drawing in 2 weeks. We're gonna run this till the 22nd, and then we'll email whoever won and be like, hey, there you go. There's also additional ways to enter. Go look at the Instagram post for all the details, and good luck. But
yeah, if you repost it to your story, send us screenshots of different things, like you get more entries. We're trying to make it as fun as possible and get people to the game. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. And so with all of that being said, that's going to be for the game back at home in October. But right now we've got a matchup coming this weekend in Chicago at SeatGeek Stadium versus the Red Stars. So what are we looking at here?
All right. So Mario mentioned it, but we got to score. Like, we have to score an embarrassing amount of goals. Alyssa Nair doesn't deserve what we need to do to this. Their backup goalies, they don't deserve it. But like, it just needs to be like a freaking target practice. Like, that's the kind of game we need to have.
So you're saying we need to start
differential.
We need to start winning these games like 3-0, 4-0.
Yes. Yes. And this, I hate to say this because Chicago is playing really well right now, but we need a blowout. If you have to do it to a team at the bottom of the table, you have to do it. We didn't do it in Kansas City. We need to do it now and take advantage of the fact that they have a few key players who are injured and just kind of go balls to the wall and score, just attack. Over the last 5 matches, the Red Stars have actually been doing really well on FOTMob. You can look at the last 5 matches, and it's actually us in first place, then San Diego, then Chicago. So they're on a run, but that doesn't mean that run needs to continue.
we can be the reason that run stops.
Exactly. And I was typing up notes earlier, and I was like, oh, this is where my athlete brain is like, just hurt their feelings. They'll get over it. There is no kindness in me typing up these notes. I was like, oh my God, there's a sentence and it just says Chicago is missing key figures. We need to exploit it. And I'm sitting there like, oh, we just can run through this person. If we run up this way, yeah. We are very lucky in the sense that our team is really deep right now. We have a lot of subs. Most everyone is who can be healthy is healthy. People are willing to play minutes. They can play minutes. And the ability to throw in basically an entirely fresh lineup at any given point is so good. And knock on wood, it stays that way for the duration of the season and all of next season. And people continue to get healthy. We're all very anti-knees in women's soccer this season with the amount of ACL injuries and other knee injuries and all kinds of stuff that have been happening. But we are very lucky to be in the position we're at right now, to have more people coming back from injury than going out. And that is something that we need to use to our advantage, to have players coming off the bench and just bringing in strong, fresh legs for the second half. I will say, I think a lot of Chicago like bounce back in the last few games is because they got the ick out. I'm so pumped. Like the ownership group that caused so much harm to a decade's worth of players, people who have left the league, left soccer as a whole because of the ownership in Chicago. Like they have an all new female led ownership group that they could have just bought out the majority owner who caused the majority of the issues, but they organized themselves to completely buy out every single owner of the team, like the entirety of the ownership group, in order to completely start fresh. I was bummed because that means that Sarah Spain is no longer an owner, but even she was like, no, this was the absolute right thing to do. This team deserves the best. So I'm really hoping that we get to see a resurgence of the Chicago Red Stars to their past glory, but with a much better behind the scenes like environment for the players. Kristen Press played in Chicago for a very long time, and ACU have watched the documentary, heard anything that has come out of the investigation around the NWSL and the harassment and abuse that happened in the league. Chicago is all over it, and it's just a big old bummer. So I'm really hoping that this new ownership group gives the team what they deserve and what they have earned time and time again. But
yeah. And I mean,
with that said, congratulations on your new ownership team. We're going to beat you.
Yeah. Everybody talks about the new manager bounce, right? I mean, we even had that when Becky Tweed came on, and you know we've been on this run on this. The bounce is still here, but it's more of a legit thing than like a one-time bounce. I imagine that this big of a systemic change to the organization and just knowing who has your back from the team ownership. You know, there's a difference between who has your back as far as the coaches and the technical staff, but who has your back in the paying your wages and believing in you as a player is going to be huge.
Yep.
And hopefully it's a bounce back.
And not harassing you when you like come to work.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
It's hopefully they do get that bounce, that new like ownership bounce, but maybe that bounce skips this weekend and starts after. Maybe this one's kind of like a skip and then you gotta like rebound it again.
It's like you're bouncing, you kind of trip, and then you get up and you do it again. This is that week. But we do have familiar faces on Chicago that I want to point out. Carrie Riccaro was an opening day angel with us, and it's just the best. Like, she's so much fun to watch. She's a midfielder. I think everybody kind of misses her because she's just cool and she's just solid. Like, she's a great player. She's a great personality off the pitch. She's a great personality on the pitch. She's funny. Like, she plays very expressive soccer. Like, she's very animated on the pitch, but she's very, very good. I think it was her on Instagram would always post like Team Dirt, like dingy socks. Like, her socks were never white after one wear. Like, it's a whole thing with the coaching staff. It's very funny. But yeah, Carrie Riccaro is my first player to watch. She has started scoring thanks to her time at Angel City. She ended up scoring, I think, 3 or 4 goals last season. But she's a stellar player. She's so fun to watch. But again, sorry. We love you. We miss you forever. I cannot cheer for you this weekend. Or next week. I can't.
I still hold fast to the rule of, you know, there are amazing players throughout the league, and a lot of them deserve their, you know, their flowers and whatnot. But come 90 minutes, as soon as that whistle blows to that last whistle, you don't exist. You are being run over.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly it. Like, you are great until you are against my team, and I don't know you. Like,
yeah,
I don't know her. I'm not friends with her. We don't talk about it. all that kind of stuff. It's very much I don't even want to say it's a love-hate relationship because it's not. It's very much you're great, but not today. And not today relationship. Alrighty. And next on, I hit the wrong button. There we go. I was like, where my notes go? We have Bianca St. George. We talked about her a little bit, I want to say, around the World Cup. I don't remember, but I remember saying her name. She recently just got called up again for the September friendlies for the Canadian women's team. So that's exciting for her. She is also a midfielder, so she'll just kind of be in the middle of the pitch trying to break up our plays. But I'm over here ready to start a fight over over this team. What are you going to do about it? But she can be a little aggressive. She's got 2 yellows on the season. Not enough to miss a game on another yellow, but she's sneaky like that, where it's she might be a little that borderline. Are you being too aggressive? Are you not? Is it a card? Is it not?
It very much is.
Two spicy midfielders.
It would very much be the people all over the stadiums that have their yellow cards ready for any of those plays that are a little too
all the card
aggressive.
Kids. Yeah, exactly. But 2 fantastic midfielders that represent Chicago very well. It'll be interesting to see how they play and all that good stuff. The last player I want to talk about is a legend, both in her home country of Japan, in international soccer, and the NWSL. Yuki Nagasato is just solid. When you the face of a generation of players out of Japan with Yuki on the team, forever. And the crazy thing is she's retired from international soccer. She's a year younger. Cool. I love when they're she's already retiring from this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah. And she's my age. She's in her late 30s. And I understand how much my body hurts. And I can only imagine theirs hurts more because they've been playing longer than I did. But Pinot too, they're oh my God, it's she's got one foot in the grave. And I'm she's not even 40. Take a deep breath. She's got decades ahead of her. But with that said, let me give you a little bit more info on Yuki. And I have a really funny story to top it off. So she's a forward. She plays on the Japanese national team. They're in and out. She's a World Cup winner in 2011. Scored in 2015 in the final against the U.S. national team where we ended up winning. Just so solidly good. She was actually, this is the thing that I didn't know until I looked her up to know more about her. She is the first woman to play for a Japanese men's club team at the professional level.
Oh.
So yeah. And that is such a huge deal for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Across sport, not even just across soccer, across sport, to be brought in by a men's team and succeed and actually play minutes and what? Just whoa. She also that's a whole, plays a drum.
It's not to say that that's a whole nother level, because I would bet you put any of these women playing
right,
and they will totally hold their own against any, if not all, the men out there, right? But I think you're right. The whole fact that a team would say hey, we will have you here and you actually will play minutes.
Yeah.
Is a whole nother level of respect.
It's one thing to say, we have a woman on our team. Cool. Does she play?
Is it the token woman on your team that you're just kind of
yeah. Is she diversity hire or what? But no, she Yuki's what's up. She plays the drums, which is really neat. My girlfriend, who is a drummer, made sure that I mentioned that because that's important. But the funny story. So in April of 2021, Yuki tweeted, "I learned today what is dead ass." A friend said, "I'm going to bring dead ass." And then another one said, "I'll bring red wine and dead ass as well." And then I was like, okay, is that food or drink? And then I found this picture And I figured out later they will bring their butt. Of course they will. And it's like, let me just send this to you while we're on the phone because it cracks me up. It's so good. Like, it's so funny. But it's like one of those stickers you would get from like a sticker vending machine where it's just like a booty and it says dead ass. Like, that's it. With the little story. But she learned what that ass was from, I'm assuming, her teammates or maybe some friends that she's met along the way. But yep, you're always learning something new in the NWSL.
Oh, I think that's gonna be the like social clip of the episode.
Yeah,
the dead ass story.
Say dead ass like 5 times. But the best part is like that like picture she posted is, it has to be a graphic from like 2004 where like everything was like that.
Yeah, this was definitely something. This is definitely something that like you laughed at and you giggled at when you like walked into Spencer's like at the mall and you're like,
yes, 100, or like Oz. If you had an Oz store in your mall, yeah, like Spencer's, Oz, any tchotchke store that had like a quote unquote adult section or like, you know, like tongue in cheek jokes on everything. Like that's this graphic. And to just imagine this sweet, like small human, because I think she's like 5'5", you know, like most female soccer players are smaller. I'm almost 6 feet tall, so everybody's short to me. But like to have a whole adult be like, what is that a food or is that a drink? What is that? They're like looking it up and being like, oh, it's the booty. Like they're just bringing their butt. Of course they will. I think that's my favorite part. It's the of course they will with a little shruggy emoji. That's the best part.
Oh, that's so good.
And with that said, that is the Chicago Red.
Oh man. Okay. So we've got, I'm now staring at that ass. So we've got Carrie Recaro as a midfielder. Carrie's going to be in the middle. Number 4, Bianca St. George, also a midfielder, going to be number 22 on the field. And then Yuki, that ass, Nagasato, is a forward, so she'll be giving our defense and a run for her money. Number 7, and now you've got a fun story.
Yeah, now you know. So that's the Chicago Red Stars.
And then I wanted to take a quick little break here, and for all those of you that have listened to the pod this long, little secret code word for you: undetweetable. UNDE tweedable. Take a look at, we have merch too, so go to shop.casualfc.com and you can see the shirt. DM us that code word and we'll give you an additional entry. That's only for you if you've been listening. And now on to ACFC.
What? Look at us. All right, so back to our regular scheduled program. Angel City Football Club. So we say it every week. I don't know who I've talked about. I know I'm missing a couple players that I need to go scrub our notes. But
by
there are
the
two
next
people
episode,
I really, really wanted to talk about.
By the next episode, I'll do the list. I'll go back to our notes. I'll do the list and we'll see who we got.
I know. I think I haven't talked about Brittany Eisenhower. And then there's one other person I think I haven't mentioned. Or like I just briefly talked about and I don't know. But I think Brittany Eisenhower is my only one that I haven't like done a deep dive on. We'll see. Let's see if I'm right. But so the two players on Angel City that I really wanted to talk about are Sid LaRue and Sarah Gorden. I couldn't escape an episode without a defender. Midfielders don't count. Like, you know, I'm defense in my heart. So obviously.
You're very much a defender, yes.
But let's start with Sid. Yes, let's start with Sid, who is Sid the Kid. We've talked about her a whole bunch. She like revolutionized herself coming back from a wild ankle injury where they thought it was one thing and it wasn't a big deal. And it was very much a big deal. Could have been career ending. Comes back, plays a few games, gets knocked so hard she gets her ribs broken. To then have some troll on the internet be like, oh, maybe it's time to hang it up. And she was like, maybe check your hairline. Like, Sid doesn't play. And you should not play with Sid. because she will roast you on the internet, and it's no good for you. But it's really interesting to see her kind of transition as a veteran and as someone who is known for her scoring ability to kind of start the process of passing the torch to these younger players. Because I'm not sure if it's just because of the nature of the team or what. She kind of has a new role of like a super sub or a game changer that's coming in this like 60th minute, a little bit later in the game, giving fresh legs, showing up hard on defense, but also like very, very, very in the mix to score. So she's posing as like this triple threat, even like, I don't even know, like she's just coming in and playing this role that we haven't really had someone on ACFC be able to play. And I love that it's her, because being able to come off the bench in any sport is very difficult. You're coming in cold. Even if you've been warming up on the sidelines, it's not the same. You're running for 45 minutes and your body's not executing at the same level. But to come in and like immediately make a difference is so, so, so important, especially in soccer when you have 4 seconds to get up and ready to go. And next thing you know, you're running like football fields back and forth. But it's just really cool to see her as somebody who had been such a prolific player continue to change and continue to adapt to the game, to her body, to the changes that are made constantly on and off the pitch. It's really cool. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's just kind of the nature of the team right now, but I love it.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. She, the way she's coming in has been amazing. The way she has shut up the critics has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad having these super subs, these game changers. Like you said, our team at the moment is stacked. We've got a really good deep roster. Not gonna say we're completely uninjured, but we're healthier than most times.
We're trending healthy. Yeah,
exactly. So I ain't
absolutely.
mad at it. Nope.
Definitely. So last but certainly not least, this game I think will be a little interesting for Sarah Gorden. She is a Chicago kid. She played with the Red Stars until she came to Angel City. So like this is her first, since she didn't play last season, this is her first game back in Chicago. Yeah. Like let that one sink in a little bit. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And she's been doing so well with us as of late.
Yes, she is. I mean, in Chicago, she was a defensive machine. Like she just is a defensive machine. She is everywhere. She has had so many goal line stops. She has broken up so many like fast breaks and so many challenging plays that would or could have been detrimental to Angel City. She has just like, I think she's like, for people who have followed the NWSL, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not surprised Sarah Gorden's good. She's Sarah freaking Gorden, duh. But at the same time, it's like, holy crap. I knew you were good, but like, dang, you're just having a season of a lifetime. Great. Like, let's go. And I love to see that she's finally like being rewarded for that. She was like one of, I don't know, 4 over the course of 2 years players that the NWSL has named as part of the best 11 of the week. She's just having a hell of a season. And it, especially coming off a big injury, tearing her ACL, like her recovery has been so beautiful, and she's been so open talking about how hard it is to come back from an injury like that. Like you're part of the team, but you're not, like all kinds of stuff. And it's just, I'm so happy to see her succeed. A fun little story before the start of Angel City's first season. So before the beginning of last season, my girlfriend is at a little coffee and tea place we go to in North Hollywood a whole bunch. And she's sitting outside talking to her friend, and she starts blowing up my phone. Like I'm at work, she's texting me like crazy. I'm like, what the heck? Like, what's wrong? I look and she was like, I think Sarah Gorden is here. Like Sarah Gorden from the NWSL, like who played in Chicago and is now an Angel City player and who's like my favorite. And I was like, are you going to go say hi? She's like, I don't know. Just like complete freaking out. Like you've met Eva, you know, like her temperament. And she's just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, if you do not go and say hi to her,
you're going to regret it.
You are going to regret this. Like just as this, like, thank you for being in my city kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she goes and talks to her and she's like, she looked at me like I just made her day. Like I was the first person to ever recognize her in public of just like, not this beautiful human, but just like, oh my God, Sarah Gorden, the soccer player. And she's like, probably like this little gremlin of a human that's like, oh my God, her soulmate. But like now, knowing what she went through in Chicago and to have that be one of your first interactions in the new city that you're playing in, yes. Like, good job, Eva. Way to make Sarah Gordon's day.
You know, yeah. I have that issue too, because like, you know, living in LA, you're bound to maybe run into someone, and most of the time I'm like, they're normal people like you and me. I don't want to bother them, like, you know. So I don't have photo evidence of anybody I've met because I don't like ask for selfies and I don't ask for all of that.
Same.
At the point I might be like, hey, just really big fan, love your work, and then just like let them go from there, because like, you know, they're out doing their own thing,
right, like they're grocery shopping or like doing normal people thing. Yeah,
like I want to say one of the biggest claim to fames that both Jen and I had, this is completely off topic from soccer, but was meeting Tom Hanks at a dog park in Brentwood.
Oh, what?
And my wife had,
that's worth it.
And then my wife had the same exact thing where she was like, I think that's Tom Hanks. And I look over and I'm like, I think you might be right. She's like, oh my God, wait. Because it's one of her favorite actors. And then I told her the exact same thing.
T. Hanks.
I was like, if you don't go say hi, just to even say hi, you're going to regret it. And so she did. Yep. We also played with, he has 2 albino huskies that we were playing with them for a while. So we actually were playing with his dogs before we noticed he was there. So he was being super incognito, super chill. Yeah. But he was really,
that's awesome though.
Super nice guy. And then also we didn't like talk his ear off, you know. We just said how we love your dogs, love what you do, and that was it.
Yep.
Let him go back to reading his book.
I think in that kind of thing, it's nice to just be like, hey, you're great. Thanks for making my life better. And then you kind of just move on, and they're just like, oh, neat. Cool. But no, Sarah Gorden, she's just so cool. My aunt, I've mentioned that my family is starting to come to more games, and the last game, like, again, this is definitely where I get my love of defense, is my mom and my aunt. But she loved Jasmine Spencer because she wore number 3. She loved Katie Johnson. She wore number 33 because I think in college when my aunt was playing basketball, she came in, wanted number 3. Another girl was like, no, you can't have number 3 because you're a freshman. And she said, fine, I'll take 33 because I'm twice as good as you. Like, I get 2 threes, you only get 1. Like, this is the family I come from, if it makes any sense. But
makes
then with Sarah
sense.
Gorden, she was like, yeah. With Sarah Gorden, she was like, how does she look like a human version of Barbie, but she will like murder you on defense? And I was like, welcome to being Gorden. She is like runway model, but also will ruin your life and embarrass you and like ruin your day. And yeah, they absolutely loved her. They were sitting behind our goal last game, both games actually. They were sitting like the end zone, and we're just like, this is the best experience ever because they got to see defense firsthand, up close, all that good stuff. But Sid LaRue, she's number 2. She's a forward. She'll be coming in at some point. She might be starting. Who knows? She just does everything these days. And then our lovely Sarah Gorden on defense with Paige and Allie Riley, M.A., Jasmine Spencer, Megan Reed, any of our goalies. Like, we just have a defense back there. It's so cool. But there's number 11, High Pony, looking like Barbie out there playing the best soccer you'll ever see. So, yeah, that's my little excitement. Get excited for Angel City because we're gonna do some things in Chicago.
Well, we gotta keep Becky undetweeted here, and
right. I mean,
And
overall, like Chicago's won twice. We've won once. We have to tie up the series. Like, it's just what needs to happen, right? Like,
yes. That's just the way nature needs to work.
yeah.
We need to tie up the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did win this year when we met up with them. So we did tie it last year. They won one, we won one. Then they won this year. Now we
gotta split it again.
Now we just gotta split it again. That's all right. One thing we do have in our favor here is pulling up those little tidbits on like FOTMob and stuff. Chicago have conceded the most penalties this season with 6. I mean, granted, that's not like a lot, but I mean, the fact that you've had 6 penalties because of some reason or another that you committed,
That's actually kind of a lot.
Yeah.
On season.
And like I said, the other one was we've been undefeated in 5 away games. So, I mean, that's just 5 of the 10. So,
very, very true.
Okay. So, we are playing in Chicago this Sunday, September 17th. So, it's the Red Stars versus Angel City in SeatGeek Stadium at 3 p.m. LA time, local time. Of course, going to be available on CBS Sports, so semi-national, not free TV national,
semi-available.
Yeah. It will no problem for your local bar to be playing. That's the important part. Bars get a little weird about like, oh, it's on streaming and we can't play it, and no, you have no reason to. So now go to a bar, yell at them, and tell them, put the game on. This is mainly going to be because it's not going to be on Paramount Plus. So if you have a Paramount Plus subscription and that was the reason you were getting it to watch all these NWSL matches, it's not going to be on there. It's going to be on CBS Sports, which means you need a TV login or some type of cable subscription. That's the pain in the butt. So go watch it with friends. Watch it in a bar, 3 p.m., and have them change all the TVs to Angel City. If you're international, again, thank you for listening, and you will be able to watch it at nwslsoccer.com. Or if you're tech savvy enough you didn't hear it from us, but if you're tech savvy enough from the US, you can watch it internationally also. Or you can listen to the whole thing on iHeartRadio. Just download the iHeartRadio app. There's an Angel City specific channel to be able to listen to. The great thing about that, out of all of these, is that iHeartRadio is going to give you our local Angel City centric announcers. So you're going to be getting all that good stuff, all the sweet insider knowledge about Angel City, all the corner kicks by Cedar Sinai, just all the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Yep.
If you've made it this far, I hope you're liking us. I post these on Reddit with some of the teams that we cover at times. So if you've listened this far, thank you for listening and hope you liked what you heard. Go hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you feel like subscribing from. If you need additional links, you can always check out casualfc.com for all of the pod links.
Definitely. You can find us on all of the socials, Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it, Instagram, YouTube. What other social media? Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok. There we go. I'm like, what are apps that I'm on all day, every day? Jeez. The internet, we're on it. You can find us on social media at Casual FC Pod. A new announcement. We have merch.
Boom.
Like, we have merch. Mario mentioned it briefly earlier. You can go to shop.casualfc.com to get yourself an undetweeted or an undetweetable shirt. I know someone who's bought one. I'm very excited and need to get mine from you. But yes, very, very excited about this. There will be more things coming down the pipeline as we decide what we want to consider merch. But yeah, if you are enjoying the podcast so far and want to bring your friends along, tell them about the pod, get them to check it out. I hear it brings good luck. Right now, we're kind of taking all that good luck and throwing it at the team to get us into the playoffs. But we'll see what we can do, take what we can get. And then if you feel so inclined and want to help support the podcast by buying us a coffee, check out our link on our, like, in our bios on every social network there is, or go to buymeacoffee.com/casualfcpod to throw some money in our tip jar. Our virtual tip jar?
Virtual.
Whatever. Yeah.
And with all of that, thanks for listening. We'll see you at the game, and we'll see you next time at BMO.
Definitely. I hope you enjoyed it.
Bye. Oh, and then if you thought you heard about the secret password and you made it all the way and you skipped all the way to the end, you didn't find it. We didn't say the magic word. You got to find it somewhere else in the pod.
You got to scrub this thing and go back and listen and find it.
It's somewhere in the middle. Give it a listen. But you know what? I bet you're going to like what you hear.
Definitely. Bye for real.
Bye.